Welcome to Guerrilla Discipleship. I get to be your host, Kevin Baker, and I'm so glad that you joined us. It's Christmas time of the year, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about today as we gather is that, the goal of disciple making, or one of the goals of disciple making, is to move conversations that we have with folks that we encounter in the world from casual to spiritual. Now, a lot of times they go from casual to meaningful to spiritual, but our goal is to begin to have comfortable, organic, spiritual conversations with people that can allow us to talk about things that really matter, that will open doors for curiosity and for even sharing of our own story. The problem is in our culture today, there's so much divisiveness. In the realm of our culture, people are actually afraid to approach spiritual conversations because they're afraid that it's not appropriate or that people don't feel like, religion can be talked about anymore. But we're talking about life-on-life sharing. We're not talking about trying to uphold a denomination or a church. We're just talking about how God is involved in our life. That's what a spiritual conversation is. It's not so much about trying to get tenets of Christianity across. It's talking about here's what God has done in my life and here's how I met him in ways that are very relational that people would be open to and are open to. It's just us getting uncomfortable, or us getting through our uncomfortability about talking about spiritual matters because we've been told for far too long that it's not appropriate or we've seen it done wrong, right? Remember, one of the things we say is that our goal is to be spiritually obvious without being obnoxious. So don't let your past experience with people who have been obnoxious keep you from being obvious about the love that you have for God and the way that God is giving you hope and the way that your faith is driving you forward. So here we are at Christmas time, and even though Christmas is a religious holiday, you and I both would agree in the American culture, it's been very much secularized. Santa gets far more airtime than Jesus does, and even parties and gift giving are really not centered around the original story of Christmas, and so it's a pretty much secular holiday, but it is a time, Christmas and even New Year's, they're a great time to look for spiritual conversations because people are still connected. They know that Christmas is connected to Christian things or spiritual things, and so it doesn't seem so awkward. And New Year's is a time when basically, it makes sense to talk. Let me just give you a couple of pointers to think about, and then I want to give you 5 ways to think about how you might use this Christmas and New Year's season to start spiritual conversations, engage with friends, coworkers, and neighbors. First of all, I just want to remind you that one of the reasons why this is such a good time for disciple making is that we're around a lot of people, more people often than we normally are, because we're going to parties and gatherings, and so there's a lot of outings, Christmas caroling, or whatever it might be. And so we're just exposed to a lot more people. We're rubbing elbows with a lot of people that maybe we, in our day-to-day, don't normally do. And as I said, even though Christmas has become increasingly secular, there's still a sense that there's roots in terms of its spiritual roots. And so it's not inappropriate sometimes, given the right context, to bring that out. It's got to be done properly. Let me just tell you this. Christmas is also a season that's very difficult for a lot of people. And there is a real need for joy and hope because in the midst of Christmas, many people are grieving, they're depressed, they're lonely. With all the trappings of parties, they can feel left out. And so it's an important time to recognize that not everybody is overjoyed with what's going on or feels included, or maybe this is the first holiday without a loved one because there's been a recent passing. And so it's a time when a lot of emotions are stirred, and that can lead to some great conversations. And of course, New Year's Day is just all about new starts in our culture, right? We talk about what are your resolutions for the new year. And so It's okay to talk about what are your spiritual resolutions. Are you thinking about ways that your spiritual life might change, or you might engage in your spiritual life in the upcoming year? Those are all ways that this season just provides, well, a good opportunity. But we have to be ready. We have to be prayerful. All of disciple making needs to stand on a foundation of prayer. God, use me, help me, give me wisdom. But it's also a time to practice having spiritual conversations. And so I wanted to just talk with you today about some prompts that I think we can use in this season to see how God might use us in blessing other people. First thing I want you to think about is, as you're talking with coworkers, neighbors, friends, especially if they grew up celebrating Christmas, it's a great time to just ask them about their family Christmas. As kids, tell them, ask them, what was your favorite holiday or favorite part of the holiday? What was, and listen for what they're going to say. A lot of times there'll be people talking about, well, we used to go to midnight mass, and that may be a place, or they might say, oh, my dad used to read the Christmas story, or whatever it might be. Many of their joys are going to be just the sweetness of family memories, but listen for what they say that might lead to, from kind of a casual conversation to a more meaningful conversation, and maybe even a spiritual conversation. People love to remember their childhood. Hopefully it won't be full of pain, but even if it is full of pain, that may be the opening for a deeper conversation. So talking about, hey, tell me about your Christmas as a kid growing up, often what people love to do. They love to recall those things. And those sweet memories may just open the door for some amazing conversations. Another thing that you can be thinking about this season is there a special concert, a special movie, a special program somewhere, maybe at your church or another church that you would be willing to invite someone to go to? These are things like just a choir sing, or a hymn sing, a carol sing, a little Christmas play. Even though they're done in religious settings and perhaps telling the religious side of the story, they're often seen as a part of the tradition of Christmas. They're not overtly, it depends, but they don't have to be overtly Christian or overtly religious in the sense that people are going to be confronted in any way. It can be just a sweet thing. Hey, our church is having a Christmas party. We're going to just wrap gifts together, or we're going to just, we've got a Christmas cookie exchange, and I would love for you to come and just hang out with me. Those are ways that we can include them. And if it's a Christmas program, maybe the kids in the church are putting on something, to invite someone to come, and then to just have coffee afterwards, or go out to dinner afterwards, or whatever it might be, where you can say, what did you think? Or just listen for opportunities. Some of those things might bring up memories of when they were small, or they might just ignite within them something that they feel is missing. I miss being at church, or I miss those kinds of opportunities. Again, great opportunity to just organically allow the conversation to go in spiritual directions and ways that God might use to really open the door for discovering and rediscovering the goodness of God. And it gives you an opportunity perhaps to tell some of your stories as well. Then the other thing you might do if you're involved in a small group is to ask your small group to purposefully throw a party where you're all going to invite your unchurched friends or neighbors or coworkers. So the whole point of this is your group is going to pray through just throwing a party. You're not inviting them to your small group. You're not even going to advertise necessarily that it is your small group. You might say, hey, a group that I hang out with at church is throwing a party. I'd love for you to come. The point of the party is what? It's fun. That's it. You can do it however you want. You could have a crazy little gift exchange if you want, and just make that fun. The whole point is not to, it's not a bait and switch. It's not to get them into your small group meeting and then say, oh, now we're going to study the Bible. There's not going to be any Bible study that night. You're just going to have fun. What are you doing? You're exposing unchurched, dechurched people, or folks who have never been even connected at all to church, to the joy of what it looks like to celebrate Christmas and to be around real folks who love Jesus, who aren't weird. Now, that assumes that your small group isn't full of weird people. I'm assuming that's the case. And so that they can just go, wow, I see portrayals of Christians on TV, or I sort of got a bias on some of that. But man, your friends were fun. It was a wholesome evening. I had a great joy. They welcomed me. Those are the kinds of things. We're planting seeds. We're beginning at comfortable levels and hoping and praying that organically relationships and conversations are going to happen. So what a great way to invite them into the Christmas season in a very relaxed relational environment. Another way is if you've got someone that you think, man, they're dreading decorating, especially folks who are going to be more alone. Maybe an older couple whose kids are all grown and live far away. Maybe a divorced person, a separated person. Maybe someone who's never been married, just a single person. Whatever the circumstances, if you are connected with them, to say, hey, could I come over and could we decorate your house together? I've heard you say that you haven't gotten to your decorations. I love to decorate. I would love to do some decorating with you. Or invite them to decorate with you. Maybe they're not going to decorate. Maybe they say, what's the use? It's just me. And so invite them to come and decorate with you at your house and be a part of that season. But there's something about putting up lights that it's just an intimate time of conversation. Who knows what God might do? It will bless them and hopefully you to have fun together and share a little bit about, well, we always decorated this way, or man, my dad was always this, or, my dad was always grumpy because he had to get all of the boxes out. And my mom was the one that did most of the decorating, or maybe it's the reverse. Mom didn't have anything to do with decorating. My dad was always trying to, put up the best decorations. It was a competition for him. Whatever it is, it'll lead to some fun, or could lead to some fun conversations, and even open the door for some spiritual conversations about, meaning of Christmas, meaning of life, loneliness, opportunities to talk about discovering once again the joy of God and the joy of living. And then finally, include a non-Christian in your gift giving. Here's what I mean. Maybe you work with a coworker who's Jewish or Muslim or atheist, doesn't matter. And you realize that while all the Christmas celebrating is going on, that they're obviously in some ways left out. Maybe they're celebrating Hanukkah, but our culture makes a bigger deal out of Christmas. Include them. Get a gift for them. Not a religious gift, just a gift. Now you may feel like it's awkward, and maybe they will too, but just to walk up and say, hey, you know what? Christmas for me is a time of giving. And you're a special person in my life, and I just wanted to give you this small gift, something fun, something that they could be a box of candy, or could be just something very small, or maybe an invitation. Maybe it's a gift to go to a concert with you or a movie with you, whatever would be appropriate. But that might start a conversation. They might say, I'm not Christian. That's okay. And I'm not looking for you to start, giving gifts back. This is not a gift exchange. This is not an invitation. This is just me. You might not want to say it this boldly. This is just me living out the spirit of Christmas, because after all, there were no Christians on the first Christmas. In fact, the greatest Christmas gift that has ever been given was given to the whole world, even when they didn't suspect it, when they didn't feel included maybe. And that's really the truth about Christmas, is that we can begin to share the love of God demonstrated for us in the greatest gift the world has ever seen, by simply being gift givers to those around us who, for their own reasons, don't feel like they're included in the Christmas celebration. This is not trying to convert people. This is not trying to say to our Jewish or Muslim friends, we want you to become Christians. This is showing our Jewish and Muslim and atheist and agnostic friends the joy of a God who is always giving, and inviting them to experience just a taste of that giving through our simple actions of love and friendship toward them. So what an exciting season we have. I know that everyone's busy. I know that you are busy. I'm surprised that you're willing to take the time to even plug in and listen to Guerrilla Discipleship in the midst of this season. But Listen, this doesn't have to be a season so self-focused or so burdened by chores and meetings and agendas and activities. It can be a way for us to say, God, I just want to be used by you for the lost and the lonely and the least, even in this season. And they might be my neighbor, my friend, my family member, coworker. And I just want to see how, God, you might use me to bless someone this Christmas. Disciple making is not a job. Disciple making isn't a task that we pick up once in a while. Disciple making is a lifestyle. We become disciple makers. Jesus said to his disciples, I'm going to make you fishers of men. He didn't say, I'm going to teach you how to fish on your off days, or I'm going to take you and make you professional fishers. He said, I'm going to change the whole nature of who you are so that it will be impossible for you not to see yourself as a fisher of people. Disciple making is a lifestyle. And we're just looking to ignite and reignite and to learn how to make the joy of disciple making a part of our everyday living. Thank you so much for being with us this year. 2022 has been an exciting year for our family and our church family here at Oakdale. I hope it has been for you, and I look forward to a new year with you. Bless you. Hopefully we'll see you next week. God bless.